Welcome back, everyone. Ozarks Tonight. We're talking with Representative Crystal Quade. You are the state minority leader in the House. People calling in Medicaid, they need to know what the status is, and the call centers aren't quite up to snuff.
Correct. So when folks are receiving these letters that we talked about, and maybe they think they submitted their information and they're still not covered, there is a number on those letters that say call into this call-in center. What we're hearing, and this is again from everybody, there's nobody really disputing that this is an issue. When citizens are calling in, the wait can be anywhere from 3 hours or 30 minutes plus. I heard one person tell me that they were on hold for 4 hours. I don't know if that's accurate, but the department agrees that about 30 minutes plus is on average. But then we also are seeing a lot of where calls are just dropped. So somebody's waiting on hold and then it just completely disconnects. And so when we're talking about families who have jobs, have children who, sitting on hold for 30 minutes plus to try to navigate, then you get picked up on the phone, have a lot of questions about this very long form. I sent in my things and they're saying, oh, we don't have it, that back and forth. That can take a really long time. And so we are looking at ways that we can help with this whole process. There has been allocated funding to improve the call centers. I'm hoping that happens. But that is a huge chunk of this issue also, that there are not offices that folks across the state can just walk in and say, help me fill this out. We used to operate that way as a state. We used to have many offices where folks could sit down with a caseworker and bring all of their stuff and they can help them go through this whole process. But we don't have that anymore. We have these call-in centers. Oftentimes the folks who answer the phone are, they're not social workers. They are trained to help fill out the form. But if you're a low-income individual who needs some assistance and you've got your food stamps forms, you got your Medicaid forms, there are all these different things that you'll have a lot of questions. Hey, I turned in my stub for this over here. Why don't you have this here? Those folks are not able to navigate back and forth between the systems. And our computer program we're still operating off of 20 years ago software. And so you're having these call center workers having to navigate a system that is just not good. And so that's a big chunk of the problem too. So folks may not have turned in their paperwork, so then they reapply and then they need help to do that. They call the call-in centers and they just can't get through. So that's where we're seeing a big chunk of the issues as well.
All right, well, I'm sure you would say a way to get around a lot of this is to elect more Democrats, which some people may agree with who are watching.
That's my job to say that.
That's right. All right, so 2020 is coming up,
yes.
And we've got you out around the state, I noticed, and you're talking to some college students about trying to get them excited about the Democratic Party.
Yes.
What do you tell them? Because, it's so lopsided in the state. There's Republicans only, except for Auditor Galloway. And I know she has her eyes on the governor's mansion and everything else, yes. But, y'all are a remnant, if you will. So how do you get folks excited about the party?
Well, it's a combination of a lot of things. When we look at the elections last cycle with right to work, the increase of minimum wage, Clean Missouri, those were all Democratic issues that we have been working on for a very, very long time. And overwhelmingly, the state voted in favor or against, in the case of right to work, on our side of those issues, but yet they didn't vote for us. And so, I'm really looking at what is that disconnect of you agree with our issues, but not our people. Well, a big chunk of that is we're not running everywhere, or we haven't been running everywhere in a very long time. When you look at, the state of Missouri, the Democrats used to have strongholds in Southwest Missouri, in the boot heel, but we haven't been paying attention to those regions. But then you also look at our urban center areas where voter turnout is just not where it should be. So one could argue we're not paying attention to those regions either. One of the things that I've really been doing as minority leader is trying to be proactive with our messaging. We have been in the super minority for a while, so it's really easy to point fingers and say...
That's a great term. If you're going to be a minority, you might as well be a super minority, right?
That's based on the numbers. But, for a long time, it's been easy for us to say, look, they're doing it wrong. And what they're doing is not right. Look at how much we're suffering. This Medicaid thing is a great example. But we have not done a great job of saying, but this is what we would do if we were in charge. And so that's one of the things that we've really been focused on is spreading our message throughout the state of Missouri. That comes at not only just running candidates everywhere, but also making sure that there's an infrastructure to support them and our volunteers and being out and being present. I've gone to counties where I've gone to various events that folks have, and they say, we haven't seen an elected Democrat down here in, in 5-6 years. Well, how do I expect us to win if we're not present and talking to folks and finding out what actually matters to them in their district? I tell folks all the time, and this is one of the stories I talked with the students last night that you were referring to. When I ran for office in 2016, Springfield is not a super Democratic-friendly region. I had ideas of what mattered to my constituents, but it was really knocking doors and talking to them to find out what was important and how government wasn't working for them and what they would like to see the State House doing. And so we need to be on the ground having those conversations with folks to make sure that we are fighting for the issues that matter to the people of Missouri. We're seeing suicide rates going up for farmers. We are seeing our, the drug addiction rates are going up. The rest of the country, we've seen a decline in opioids, not in the state of Missouri. We're seeing, our more and more schools going to 4-day school weeks because they can't afford transportation to stay open. We've got strikes going on right now because our workers are not being given health benefits with these big corporations. There are a lot of things that are just not working for the average citizen right now. And when you knock the doors and you talk to folks, they tell you about it. And so I believe what we really need to do as Democrats is listen and show that there's an alternative. Most people believe that balance is important in government. I know I do. Anytime you have unchecked powers, whether that's Democrats or Republicans, it's not going to be working for the people. And Missouri, I believe, is a fundamental example of that right now.
All right. House Minority Leader Crystal Quade, thank you for being here and giving us a lot to chew on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We'll be back after this.